Hello everyone, welcome to the Accounting and Economics Hub. Today we are going to be looking at Grade 12 Economics Paper 2. We are going to be looking at question 4.2. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer some basic questions on a perfectly competitive market as well as calculate marginal revenue. 4.2. Study the table below and answer the questions that follow. You are given market A and market B. 4.2.1. Identify the market in which the demand curve shows a downward slope. So is it market A or market B? What variables do you need to draw a demand curve or to plot a demand curve? You need your quantity as well as your price. You need your quantity as well as your price. So let's quickly plot a demand curve for market A and demand curve for market B and compare. So for market A, which variables do we need? We need two variables. We need your quantity on the x-axis and your price on the y-axis. For market B, we do the same. Quantity on the x-axis and price on the y-axis. You're going to notice that for market A, the price does not change. The price does not change. It's at 10. At quantity 1, the price is 10. Quantity 2, the price is 10. Quantity 3, the price is 10. If you are to join these points, you notice that the demand curve is horizontal or perfectly elastic, meaning that for 4.2.1, the answer cannot be A. Let's quickly look at market B. At market B, you'll notice that when the price is 12, quantity demanded is 0. At 12, quantity demanded is 0. And then when the price is 10, quantity demanded is 1. At price 10, quantity demanded is 1. There is a 1. And then at price 8, quantity demanded is 2. At price 8, quantity demanded is 2. So if you are to join these points, you are going to notice that the demand curve is downward sloping. This complies with the law of demand. The higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded, other things being constant. So the answer for question 4.21 is therefore B. All right, let's move on to the next one. 4.2.2. What is the nature of the product sold in a perfect market? What is the nature of the product sold in a perfect market? Let's quickly look into the characteristics of a perfectly competitive market. Let's quickly look into the first 3 characteristics of a perfectly competitive market. A perfectly competitive market is characterized by many buyers and many sellers. There is complete freedom of entry and exit, and the product sold is identical or homogeneous. So a perfectly competitive market, there are many buyers and many sellers. The product sold is homogeneous or identical, and there is a freedom of entry and exit. Those are the 3 basic characteristics of a perfectly competitive market. So for 4.2.2, your answer would have been identical, or you could have said homogeneous. That is the answer for 4.2.2. Let's move on to 4.2.3. Let's move on to 4.2.3. 4.2.3. Briefly describe the term average revenue. Briefly describe the term average revenue. What is average revenue? Average revenue is income. This is income received by a business per unit sold. This is income received by a business per unit sold. So for each and every unit that you sell, how much are you going to receive from your customers? That becomes your average revenue. Let's suppose for a moment that they'd asked you to calculate average revenue. How do you calculate average revenue? Average revenue is total revenue divided by quantity. In the case that they would have asked you to calculate average revenue. Average revenue is total revenue divided by quantity. Let's move on to the next question. 4.2.4. 4.2.4. On question 4.2.4, they want you to explain why is it that individual firms find it easy to penetrate or enter a perfect market. Why do individual businesses or individual firms find it easy to enter a perfectly competitive market? So for 4.2.4, they find it easy because there are no barriers to entry. Entry is completely free. Entry is completely free. So you are going to notice that for monopoly as a market structure, there are barriers to entry in the form of patents and high operational costs. But for perfectly competitive markets, there are no barriers to entry. Every business can easily enter the market and start operating. So this would have given you 2 marks. Then the last one, 4.2.5. The last one, 4.2.5. 4.2.5. 4.2.5 wants you to calculate marginal revenue. Calculate marginal revenue. What is marginal revenue? By definition, marginal revenue refers to income received by the business for selling an extra or an additional unit. This is income received by a business for selling an extra or one additional unit. How do we calculate marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is change in total revenue divided by change in quantity. So you are looking at the change in total revenue. You divide that by the change in quantity. So the question wants you to calculate the marginal revenue at 2 units. Calculate the marginal revenue at 2 units. Marginal revenue for market B at quantity 2. So let's go to quantity 2. Let's go at quantity 2. Let's go at quantity 2. So this is where we are. Quantity 2. There's our quantity 2. The price is 8. The total revenue is 16. Let's go back to the formula. How do we calculate marginal revenue? How do we calculate marginal revenue? It's change in total revenue divided by change in quantity. So you go to your total revenue at unit 2. It's 16. It's 16. That is your total revenue. But remember, we don't want the total revenue. We want the change in total revenue. So you look at before the total revenue was 16, how much was it? Then you look at the change. It was 10. So we calculate the change. That means you subtract 16 minus 10. One more time. Our total revenue at quantity 2 is 16. We want to calculate the change in total revenue. So we are going to compare the 16 to the total revenue before it changed to 16. It was 10. So the change or the difference is therefore 16 minus 10, which is 6. You divide this by change in quantity. Your quantity is 2, but you want to calculate the change. You subtract quantity 1. So it's 2 minus this 1. Then it's 16 minus 10, it's 6. 2 minus 1, it's 1. So your marginal revenue is 6 divided by 1. The answer is 6. That is how you calculate your marginal revenue. I certainly hope that you benefited something today. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.